Hello everyone, how's you all? I hope you all are fine. So today's topic of discussion is aggregate demand. This is the most important part of Keynesian theory. So before knowing about Keynesian theory, it is very important to know what is the meaning of aggregate demand. Aggregate demand, first of all, it is the planned demand. It is not the actual demand. When you are planning to buy anything, that is called planned demand. So aggregate demand is the planned demand for all the final goods and services. Final का मतलब क्या है? Those goods which are ready to use. So planned demand is the final demand for goods and services produced in the economy, and demand is made by all the sectors. There are 4 sectors in the economy: household, producer sector, government sector and foreign sector. When these 4 sectors together make a demand, that is called aggregate demand. And beta, their demand is based on their income level, and demand is to be made during the year, within the year. So aggregate demand is the planned demand. Number 1, demand for final goods and services, demand by all the sectors. Demand is based on their income level, and demand should be during the year. So please do focus on these 5 main things that together make the aggregate demand. So aggregate demand is the sum total of household demand, producer demand, government demand and foreign sector demand. Okay, household, we the household sector, basically हमारा कौन सा खर्चा होता है? We do consumption expenditure. Household sector, when household sector purchases anything in order to satisfy their own needs, so their demand is called consumption expenditure. So household expenditure is denoted by letter C. Producer sector, demand for machinery, stock in order to produce further goods or in order to sell the stock. So producer sector demand is investment demand, that is denoted by letter I. Government make demand for consumption goods like midday meal, medicines to provide to the civil hospitals. So government demand denoted by letter G. And foreign sector, exports minus imports. So when we all add together, that becomes our aggregate demand. Second thing is, in our syllabus we are doing aggregate demand in just 2 sector model. There is no government involvement, there is no involvement of foreign sector. So whenever they talk about aggregate demand, it means aggregate demand in 2 sector model, that is consumption plus investment expenditure. And बच्चे जो consumption expenditure है, that is totally dependent on income. कि whenever income increases, consumption expenditure also increases. So consumption expenditure is totally dependent on our income. Wait, I will explain you again. जो बेटा household का expenditure है, that is denoted by letter C. So household expenditure is totally dependent on income. So when income increases, consumption expenditure also increases. One more thing, in case our income is 0, still consumption expenditure is there. It may be 20, 40, because consumption can never be 0. हम consume किए बिना नहीं रह सकते, हमारी consumption हमेशा कुछ ना कुछ होगी. So consumption expenditure is directly related with income. Second one is investment expenditure. Here we take those investment which are done by the government sector. So government sector always do social welfare. So even if government has no income, still government is doing some investment either by borrowing from anyone or by printing more currency. So investment expenditure is also can never be zero even if income is zero. So when we make diagram of this, here we shows our income and here we shows our aggregate demand in two sector model, that is consumption plus investment expenditure. Okay, income is zero here, but as I earlier told you, investment can never be zero, and moreover here we take investment done by the government sector. इनकम जितनी मर्जी इंक्रीज हो रही है, एक बार जितना गवर्नमेंट ने सोच लिया मैंने इन्वेस्ट करना है, गवर्नमेंट उतना ही इन्वेस्ट करेगी, उससे ज्यादा इन्वेस्ट नहीं करेगी. कंजम्पशन एक्सपेंडिचर मैंने आपको बताया था, कंजम्पशन डिपेंडेंट ऑन इनकम, कि जैसे जैसे इनकम इंक्रीज होगी कंजम्पशन एक्सपेंडिचर भी इंक्रीज होगा. कंजम्पशन यहाँ से स्टार्ट क्यों नहीं हुई कि हमारी इनकम जीरो हो सकती है लेकिन हमारी कंजम्पशन कभी भी जीरो नहीं हो सकती. तो जब आप इन दोनों को ऐड करोगे इट मेक्स आवर एग्रीगेट डिमांड. क्लियर? I hope you all are clear. If you are having any doubt, please comment me